What's going on YouTube? Flashy here. Welcome back to another Modern Warfare 2 beta video. What we're going to talk about today, I briefly touched upon in my gameplay and first impressions video that came out yesterday. So if you haven't seen that yet, be sure to go check it out. But as you guys probably saw from the title, we're going to be talking about the brand new gun progression system in Modern Warfare 2. Now, personally, I'm not just going to write it off and be like, this is like not a good system in any way, shape, or form, because I do think there are some pros to it. But I realized like one of the really big cons yesterday, I was playing with a friend of mine and all he did was ask me a simple question. He's like, how do I get the red dot on my M4? And when I had to sit down and explain to him how to do it, I was like, guys, I think this might be a little too overcomplicated unnecessarily. So for example, in Modern Warfare 2, if you want to put a red dot sight on your M4, you have to get your M4 to level 13 to unlock the FTAC Recon weapon. Then you have to make an FTAC Recon class, get that gun to level 16. Then you unlock the FSS Hurricane, which you need to make another class for that, and you need to get that gun to level 3, and then you unlock the red dot for your M4. Now, in any other Call of Duty, it's literally just use the M4, and red dot will probably be one of the first things you get unlocked. But in this one, you have to unlock 2 different guns and rank them up. Now, it really isn't the end of the world, just because you rank up guns so fast in this game. I mean, I think I got my M4 to max level in like 3 games. And as I was saying in my video yesterday, I wasn't even going crazy like dropping 40 kill games. It was just simple like 15 kill games just using the M4 in domination, and I was able to max it out. So it's really not the worst thing in the world. I'm not sitting here like, oh my goodness, I can't get a red dot for like 3 hours of playtime. But it's just the amount of steps I had to take just to get it seemed a little too arbitrary, and trying to figure out how to find it, especially for like a more casual player, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of difficult, because first you have to go into your M4 gunsmith, and let's say you go into your attachments, you're looking through this site, you're like, oh, I want this red dot sight. You have to remember what the name of the red dot sight is, or in our case, for this example, we're going to be using the SZ Lone Wolf Optic. So let's say I want this holographic sight. I look at it, it's called the Lone Wolf Optic. Okay, now I need to go into the gun progression, and I need to go through every single attachment, because a lot of them look exactly the same. It's really just like a 2D image in gray and white. So it's really not that simple to like tell the difference. So I have to go through every single attachment, read every single one, until I find SZ Lone Wolf Optic. And then I need to do all the things like I did for the M4 red dot, right? And it's just like, I feel like there's just way too many steps in order to just unlock very basic things. So maybe they do have to change some things around. It'll make it a little bit better. But I just feel like, especially when they add more blueprints, more weapons, DLC weapons, and different things like that, I feel like it's just going to overcomplicate it. And by the time you actually look at your progression screen, it is literally just going to be a maze of just weapons and like 15 to 20 levels of attachments. Granted, what did make it difficult is you'll see some attachments don't even have a name when you're looking in the progression system. I'm sure that's going to change when the game comes out. I'm sure they're going to have that figured out. But still, it's like, to make it easiest, I think if they do want to keep this system, I think the easiest thing to do would be if you go into your gunsmith and you hover over, let's say, that SZ Lone Wolf Optic, it should say on that attachment where it is in gun progression. So I don't have to go into gun progression, sift through individually each and every single site to find that exact optic. Like as you guys see on the screen, I'm clicking on the optic and nowhere does it say that it's like Icarus level 15 or whatever it might be. Even something like that would make it like slightly easier. And then if you could even like click a button there and it takes you right to it in the progression and highlights it, right? Little things like that, I think will just make it so much less arbitrary and less convoluted, because right now you're kind of on your own. But to not just completely bash this new system, I will say that I see what they're going for and I do see the pros to it. And I will say there is one really nice pro to it, is that you have to use all the weapons, and I think that's a good change, because I feel like in a lot of Call of Duties you kind of find your weapon and you stick with it and that's it. You did have like the gold camo grind or the diamond camo grind to use everything else, but now they're kind of almost like forcing you to use other weapons, because listen, if you want something as basic as a red dot on your assault rifle, you got to jump through some hoops and use 3 different weapons. You got to use the M4, the FTAC Recon, and then the Hurricane. And the reason I like that was because if it wasn't for that, I probably would just be running around this beta with the M4 and that's it the entire time. But since I have to use the FTAC Recon to unlock the Hurricane to get to level 3 in order to get the red dot, you see what I'm saying? But I had to use the FTAC Recon and I fell in love with that weapon. I would have never used that gun throughout the entire beta. Probably when the game came out too, I would have never used it. But because of this weapon progression system, I had to try out a new assault rifle and I really enjoyed it. And I had some awesome games and some awesome moments with it. So I will say that's the one pro. It does make you kind of use all of the weapons. But again, the cons I think just outweigh the pro in this situation. I think it needs to be a little more cleaned up, a little more organized. I see what they're going for. I think some things just need to be moved around and a little bit more obvious, as opposed to like having to go in and highlight every single attachment just to find the one that that I'm looking for. And it also doesn't really tell you when you're looking just in progression what weapons that attachment's available for. Because I know some of the attachments in this game are available for, like, for example, all of the assault rifles, but it doesn't tell you that. Some attachments are only used for one assault rifle or two. It should tell you that in the gun progression screen. SZ Lone Wolf Optic, available on Icarus, M16, M4, FTAC Recon. You know, it should say that. So I know, like, hey, if I like this sight, oh, I can put it on these other weapons as well. Not, I like this sight, let me put it on my FTAC Recon. Oh, wait, I can't. Overall, my first opinion was, listen, I like that they're doing new stuff. I think that's super important. I love when games that come out every year try to change it up a little bit, right? When games try to innovate, make it different, whether it's good or bad, at least they're trying. But I think that if they want to keep the gun progression system, which isn't completely awful, again, I think it just needs to be a little more organized, a little more put together, and a little more obvious as to what goes where. But that was just a quick little video today going over one of the new systems in the Modern Warfare 2 beta. Let me know down below what you guys think about this new system, if you guys like it, if you don't like it, and what you would change. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.